I have two brief questions I'd like to ask, if I may.
Hi, welcome to Left Foot Media. My name is Brendan Malone and you're watching The Daily Question. Today's question of the day: was Disney ever really going to rehire James Gunn? Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because about a week or two ago there was this frenzied activity on the internet where people were suggesting that Disney was seriously considering rehiring James Gunn after the whole Twitter scandal that he became embroiled in. Here's what I think. I don't think that was ever seriously going to happen. I just don't think Disney was ever seriously considering embarking down that path. A couple of reasons why. Number one, first of all, Disney is bigger than Marvel. Okay, so Marvel is part of what Disney owns in its stable of properties, but it's only just part of it. And the Disney brand is much bigger than that. It's attached to theme parks, it's attached to movies, it's attached to toys. And its primary focus as a brand is on family-friendly entertainment and fun. And there's just no way that James Gunn and his Twitter history could be married up with that. Once it became public, once the cat was out of the bag, there was no way those two things were ever going to be married together successfully. And people who were looking at this through the lens of Marvel only were thinking that Disney desperately needed James Gunn because basically Disney relies upon Marvel. But in actual fact, Disney is much bigger than that, and I don't think they were ever really going to marry those two things up together again. Now, some people were saying, well, why didn't they just look at his Twitter history in the first place before they even hired him? Why did they end up in this scandal? You know, they should have never hired him at all. Well, I think probably what happened was they assumed, as often happens in scenarios like this, that there was just nothing major there that was ever going to come out of the woodwork. But once they discovered how bad it was, I mean, quite possibly at the beginning they had been reassured, oh, there's nothing too dramatic here. At the time he was hired, people weren't really paying a lot of attention to Twitter histories and what was actually being tweeted out by people. So, you know, he was brought on board before that all became a thing. And then I think realistically, even if they were told up front, oh, there's nothing major here, there's a few little things he said like everyone on Twitter, I don't think they probably realised exactly what it was they were looking at. But once they became aware of it, they really had no choice. And by acting quickly, they were really effectively able to cover their own backsides. And they're able to say, well, look, we didn't realise how bad it was, but once we realised what he'd actually tweeted out, then we severed the relationship. So it was a way of them, I guess, effectively being able to save face, even if they hadn't done their homework very well at the beginning. But to me, that's sort of irrelevant to what happened subsequently, and more importantly, why I don't think it was ever seriously on the table. And this is one big area where I haven't really heard anyone really talking about, and that is the culture of corporate decision-making. And basically, in big corporates like this, you know, these are the sort of the titans of industry, if you like, for want of a better term. And in these sort of environments, when corporates make important decisions like this, when big decisions are made by the very big, important people within a corporation, they very rarely tend to roll them back. That's not how corporate decision making works. They don't all of a sudden turn around and say, oh, you know what, maybe we did make a mistake there, let's rehire the guy again. That's really not how corporate decision making works. You might give it a bit of time and then all of a sudden they might bring him back sort of on the fringes slowly, but that would be over a longer period of time. But for them to turn around within a matter of weeks and effectively say, well, no, we got it wrong, I just don't think that was ever going to happen. You know, corporate culture and decision-making culture within corporations just doesn't work like that. And effectively, they would be admitting to the public and to their shareholders that there was some sort of management uncertainty going on. In most of these situations, they know it will be far better to hold your ground and to say, no, we've sacked him, he's gone, and to show strong leadership, which gives people a sense of certainty, than to actually show the kind of uncertainty which suggests that maybe this corporation is not being managed particularly well. And I think that's one big factor that everyone was missing in all of this. The corporate culture of decision making and the way in which I just don't think they were ever going to roll that back. Because to roll it back would be to effectively have them admitting that they didn't know what they were doing, that they're not very competent when it comes to management. And that's just not how strong leadership tends to work. Most leaders will probably operate under the principle of, I've made a decision, I've got to stick with it. Even if I don't get everything 100% right, it is better to have decisiveness and clarity around leadership and management than it is to have this sort of uncertainty and the vacuum and confusion that can be created and can arise when you have that kind of uncertainty. As per usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts though, so please let me know what you think in the comments section below. And if you like the content I'm creating and you'd like to see more of it, then please support me on Patreon or PayPal. The links for both are in the description below. That's right, I can hear my theme music too. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily Question.